she felt like she was starting to lose him. She was like, something is happening here that was not sitting well with her. She went home. She said she went to her bedroom and she locked the door and she started wailing. For at least an hour, she was just crying. She said, I don't know how to help my kid. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know how to help him. It's not just about reading. A lot of times people say, oh, it's just about reading, or they only have a learning disability, but it's so much bigger than that. It affects the way the child sees themselves. There were so many kids that were being misunderstood. They weren't feeling good about themselves, and the parents were trying everything. Teachers also very well intentioned, but you have to know how to work with these kids. And I started getting phone calls from all over Israel. That's when I realized we really have a problem. I'm like, okay, this is a national issue. And thank God, he started learning with us, and very quickly, he was able to make progress. Again, once you work with them correctly, you see tremendous progress.
What you don't realize is these hundreds of kids, not only are you helping them be able to read, you are saving their lives.
Because we're talking about bright kids. They just need to be taught in a specific way.
Welcome back to JENuine Voices. I'm Jen Airley on Moral Edge, and today I have with me the very impressive, the very holy Rinat Green, Dr. Rinat Green, who has made Aliyah, who has opened up a whole system. I don't want to even share it with you yet. A whole entire impressive, very special, important, crucial system of learning, and then more. I don't even want to jump again. So here we are. Rinat, you've made Aliyah, you've joined us here. This goes back a bunch of years. I met you on the pilot trip.
That's right.
Back on Rehov Ye'ela.
That's right.
Here in Ramat Beit Shemesh.
You're one of the first people that I met.
There you go.
Literally.
Amazing.
First one to invite us for Shalashidus. Yeah.
And so how many years ago was that?
A few. It was in our pilot trip was in 2008 when we made Aliyah 2009, the following summer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where'd you come from?
So we made Aliyah from Boca Raton, Florida, which I think for many people, knowing what Boca Raton, Florida looks like, they view it as a nes galui, anyone that makes Aliyah from Boca. But it was just an incredible experience for us to be able to do that. I can give you a little bit also, like a little bit of a background. I'm actually originally from Israel. I was actually born in Israel. Grew up in Beersheba, the heart of the desert, and I loved my life growing up in Beersheba and just everything about it. And then when I was 9, my family moved to America. It happens to be my mother's Israeli, my father's American, and we ended up in America when I was 9. And I could say that from the second that the plane landed in America, even though I was 9 years old, I remember still being at the airport and still didn't get our luggage, but I felt like a piece of me was missing. I felt like a piece of my neshama was missing, and I just wanted to go back.
Your soul was left behind.
I felt it, and I just wanted to go back. Couldn't even explain it in words, but it was just like I felt it very, very strongly. I just wanted to go back, but I was 9, so it wasn't in my control at that point. But I promised myself that when it would be in my control, I will be coming back. During the following years, we would visit Israel back and forth. Came to Israel for my year in Israel. It was very, very difficult for me to go back after my year in Israel back to America. But because I wanted to live in Israel so badly, it was important for me that it would be successful, meaning at that time, this is years ago, it's not so much so now, even though sometimes, at that time people said, like, you have to come there prepared, you have to have like a certain nest egg, you have to have a little something to come to Israel with, it's more challenging in Israel and all that, whatever it was that people said, at the time. I wanted to make sure that I came where I knew that it was going to stick. Because I did not want to experience again having to go back to America, so I wanted to make sure I had my degree, that I came well prepared to Israel, and at the same time, like when I was dating, only dated guys that want to make Aliyah. That was like part of the precondition of going out with them, and I was going for my doctorate and then a postdoc. And I met my husband right after I started my doctoral program. So I still had a few years to continue with that doctoral program, but he knew that I wanted to make Aliyah. And then once I finished with my doctorate, and then also the postdoc, I really wanted to already come to Israel. But at the time, because of certain family situations and things like that, we decided that we couldn't leave just yet. And at the same time, we wanted to be at a place that we could still make a difference, have some level of influence. At the time, we were thinking either Teaneck or Boca. A lot of our friends were starting to move to Boca. And we felt that Boca was an up-and-coming place, community. It's a place that still needed some extra help to help it grow. So we decided to move to Boca. We thought we were going to be there just for like a year or two, which ended up being 10 years. And like as soon as like about a month after landing in Boca, I became the head of the Chesed committee there for the shul.
Of course you were.
And it just happened. Really, it just happened. My husband got very involved with the schools and the shul, and thank God we felt like we were making a difference. We're helping the community grow, and it was also like a very comfortable lifestyle. But the entire time, I wanted to go make my Aliyah. I wanted to come to Israel, and then at some point during that stay in Boca, Rabbi Josh Fass, who was the associate rabbi at the time initially when we were there, he came up with the idea of Nefesh B'Nefesh. I guess I can say that I was like one of the first few people to hear about this idea, and I initially also wrote up the psych piece for the families that were coming in that were applying to Nefesh B'Nefesh. And I got to also review some of the applications. And you can just imagine, I mean, here I am, I want to so badly make Aliyah, and I see all these families that are getting on planes. And so that part also, like, it kept on I need to get there. And then when our oldest daughter, was about to, we knew that she was going to be entering 4th grade, like if we don't do this soon. And that's usually like that cutoff point where at that time people said like, you don't want to come with kids that are a little bit older, it's harder on them and all that. And we did it. That's when we finally were able to make Aliyah. And I just remember being on that plane, the Nefesh B'Nefesh plane. I was on a high. I can't even explain to you like what it felt like to be on that plane with all these families. Some of them I also knew, friends of ours that were making Aliyah with us on the same flight. It was so incredible. And as soon as the doors of the planes opened in Israel and we started walking down the stairs, literally the second I passed by that door and started to go down, I felt that peace that left me. I mamish felt coming back in. And again, I've been to Israel a bunch of times in between, and it was always very hard to leave. It was always very hard for me to go back to America. But I mamish felt that peace coming back in. And when I felt that, I'm like, oh my God, this is actually happening, and we're going to be okay. It's going to stick. Like, this is going to happen, and it's going to happen, and we're going to be great. It's going to be great, and got down the stairs, got to the ground, kissed the floor, kissed the ground as soon as we got there. And it was just incredible. It was just like, that was like one of the best days of my life, I have to say.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why, halavai on everybody.
Yeah.
To have such longing and yearning and such excitement. They say about Rabbi Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld that when he was living outside of Israel, he just dreamt to be able to come to Israel. And once he came here and they asked him, so like, what do you miss about your pre-life? What do you miss about living outside of Israel? He says, I miss nothing except for my yearnings and longings for Israel. That feeling of just not feeling complete until you're here. Yeah. And to me, it was also, I felt like I was so true to myself because as a 9-year-old, people saw that I was struggling. Like, it was hard for me to be in America. I really wanted to go back. My teachers saw that I was not happy being there. I really wanted to be in Israel. And a lot of times, I guess, well-meaning people would say, oh, she's only 9. It's going to go away. Don't worry. She'll outgrow this. It's going to. And to me, when
we actually made Aliyah and I was here, I just felt like I really was true to myself. Like I did it, even though it took many more years than I anticipated, but I did it, and this is me. This is really me, and I didn't lose that kivun. I didn't lose that direction all these years. So, yeah.
It's interesting because I think that when you said and your teachers saw it in you, you were a very, obviously, you were deep and you were, as you were saying, true to yourself, but you already had a certain relationship with teachers and appreciated that teachers saw you. And I think maybe all these decades later, when you're seeing students, you're seeing them for who they are and what's really behind what you see on them. Here, I want to segue into what you've done since you came here. Right? You've made Aliyah. You had how many children with you?
At the time, 6. And
6 children.
Then we had our token Israeli.
We had your little Sabra child.
Yes.
And okay, they go into the school system. They're working with their own teachers. And how does that look?
Okay, so actually, before we made Aliyah, the year before, I had my second to oldest was in first grade. And then my third to oldest was in kindergarten, or pre-1A, as they say in America. And for both of them, I was concerned that I was seeing certain signs that made me think that maybe we're looking at dyslexia.
Because your background is?
I'm a child psychologist, and my husband always says, when I initially mentioned this, he's like, "Oh, psychologists always look for problems. Like the kids are fine, like they're great," because they really were great in so many. I mean, they are great, but like in every other aspect, there was like nothing glaring. But I was concerned about their language development a little bit, about certain things that I was noticing. And I had my son evaluated when he was in first grade, and it came out that he actually had dyslexia. And I knew that we were planning on making Aliyah because the summer before is when we met you on our pilot trip, and I didn't want anything to hold us back. So I'm pretty resourceful when it comes to doing some research, trying to find out like who are the teachers to set my kids up with, because I wasn't doing this and I was not coming back. So I needed to make sure that my kids would be successful. I was not going to do this on their back. So backs. So I contacted. I started contacting a lot of different people, asking who are the teachers that work with kids that have dyslexia, and I made a lot of different phone calls, even to universities everywhere, and certain names kept on coming up. So I made sure to contact those names and to line them up even before we made Aliyah, that they're going to be teaching my kids once we got there. And I had like a whole posse for my kids, like to make sure that they get the right help, because the last thing I would want is a kid in second grade or first grade feeling already that school is not for them because they don't understand what's going on because of the language, and on top of that, because of a learning challenge. So I basically started out, like we made Aliyah. I started out with the teachers that everyone kept on telling me those are the ones that I should connect with. And I realized very quickly that although they were well-intentioned, they really did not have the level of education or understanding of how to actually help kids with dyslexia learn to read. They had more of like a general understanding, but for this, you really have to have specialized training. And
well, just tell the listeners quickly, dyslexia is not any compromise on wisdom, brightness.
Not at all. Very often, these are the kids that are the brightest kids in the class, the smartest kids in the class, the most social kids. Kids gravitate to them, and they're great, But in school, exactly the area of their challenge is the area that's really focused on in school, which is reading, writing, reading comprehension, which affects every subject. And when you're struggling with that and you don't necessarily have the teachers that can help you overcome it, because really there are ways to overcome it very, very well. If you don't have that, then you are consistently limping and are behind the rest of the class. And what can start off as a learning challenge can develop into an emotional issue or a behavioral issue, because it wasn't addressed properly. So I noticed pretty quickly that even the teachers that I sent to, they lacked that ability. And I was not going back. That was not out of the question. So I had to do something. So what I did was this is going about, close to a year into being in Israel and figuring all this stuff out. Oh, and also another thing that I noticed was that just like during the day, I would be driving and I would see kids from really good homes that should be in school, and they were in the parks. And everything was blamed on Aliyah, which was ridiculous to me. I mean, good homes, good families, great kids. Why are they there? And we know that dyslexia is a very, very common condition. It actually affects 1 in 5 kids. So basically in a class of, let's say, 30 kids, and in Israel the classes sometimes are even larger than that, you would have about 6 kids that are struggling with dyslexia to some extent. And then we live in a community that there's a lot of Aliyah here, so things are blamed on Aliyah. Things are often also just blamed on ADHD. If you don't understand exactly what dyslexia is, you just say, it's ADHD because the kid is restless. A lot of times it's comorbidity, but still, that was the go-to diagnosis. And I'm like, this can't be, we can't let this be. This is just, it can't be. So what I did was I actually put an ad in just the local Beit Shemesh papers, the ad papers in Beit Shemesh. There are a few different ones. And basically I wrote, does your child leave to school stressed? Does your child come home, again, anxious, or are reading challenges affecting your child's ability to succeed in school? Because I wanted parents to make that connection. I felt a lot of times that was missing. And I gave a brief synopsis of the strengths of these kids and also their challenges. And I said, is your child an out-of-the-box thinker, creative?
I remember these ads.
Yeah,
at the top and the bottom.
Exactly, creative, maybe good in music, sports, technology, but struggles with reading, writing, and all that. I said, if you have a child like that, please be in touch with me, because at the time, what I wanted to do was create a small class in a school that was specific for kids with language-based learning disabilities. It was very, very important to me, because what I noticed was that the options that were available was either for the child to struggle in a regular big class, or they would relegate them to a small class, but very often it was a mix of kids with emotional, behavioral, and learning
challenges. The small classes are all learning issues and all behavioral issues. Anyone who's not succeeding in the main classes.
Exactly. It's all the outliers in a sense. And you can't really run a class with all behavioral issues or all emotional issues. And these kids become the buffers, but they're still, even in the small class, not necessarily are getting the help that they need to advance and to overcome their learning challenges. So I put this ad out at the time, and I was really hoping to create a class. I really wanted one for my son, and also my daughter, which I also discovered also had dyslexia. I wanted to create a girls' class, a boys' class, and have it be more homogeneous. Anyway, these ads took a life of their own. I did not expect it at all. Again, I was still new to the country, and I started getting phone calls from all over Israel. Wow. Because when people saw the ad, because it's so common, so someone could be in Beit Shemesh, but they may have a relative or a friend that may be in Ra'anana or Chashmonaim or Modi'in or Yerushalayim or wherever, and they would tell them about this. And I started getting phone calls from all over Israel. And when I say all over, not just in American Anglo communities, literally all over. But when I started to get calls from Yerushalayim and Tel Aviv, that's when I realized we really have a problem, because those are big cities. At the time, Beit Shemesh was not as big as it is today. And when I started getting calls from there, I'm like, okay, this is a national issue. This is a problem. So what I kept on also hearing the same, I would say same chorus from every parent, where they tried everything. They've gone to tutors and they don't see the child is advancing. The kid self-esteem is going down the tubes, all the same types of things. So what I did was I started to tell parents that basically in order to qualify for special ed services in Israel, you have to go through a special meeting, a vada, that's with the municipality and the Ministry of Education to see that the child qualifies for special ed services. So I said, apply for that. The parents were very confused, whether they should, they shouldn't, because socially the kid was doing great in the regular class, and to put in a small class was so I said, okay, apply, but say that you only want to put your child in the small class if it's homogeneous, meaning specifically for kids with language-based learning issues. So all of a sudden, especially in Beit Shemesh, they started getting all these phone calls from parents saying, I'm only going to put my kid in a small class if it's this type of a small class. And they're like, who's telling you to do this? Because we've never had this request before. And I said, and at the same time, I'll go and I'll start to advocate to open these classes. And that's what I did. I went to the municipality. I went to the people in charge from the Ministry of Education, and I was pushing to create these classes.
You went all the way up to the Knesset.
Well, yeah, that's basically how things kind of evolved, because in order to get to where I needed to go, I realized, well, I wasn't getting it here, so I got to go here, and I wasn't getting it there either. And it ended up all the way up to the Knesset, advocating for better services, better laws. That's pretty much what happened. We were able to open 2 classes at the time, one a boys' class and a girls' class, but we had a lot of challenges within that as well, because although we had a group of families that were interested in a homogeneous class, that was not necessarily something that was done before, and the Ministry of Education did not want parents to feel that they have the power to change the way that they've done things up until now. So they put in at the last second certain kids that were not necessarily part of that homogeneous group. But because we had enough of a cluster, it made all the difference in terms of kids seeing other kids like them that were talented, bright, capable. They made great friends. It made a difference, and it also changed the class a little bit because there was more of them together. So that was like the initial part. Then as I continued with this journey, I realized that in order to really give these kids a voice, because all the families that I was speaking with, each one thought that they were the only ones dealing with this issue. So in order to give these kids a voice and actually start to affect change, because I realized it was a national issue, I had to open a nonprofit. And that's when Kol Koreh happened.
What year did Kol Koreh open officially?
It was the official Amuta opened in 2013. And wow. That was wow.
So you decided you're not just helping your kids, you're helping all of Israel's kids.
Well, not everyone had...
All of Israel's kids with these particular learning-based issues.
But I'm saying because there were so many kids that were being misunderstood.
Right.
I mean, there would be kids sitting next to my kids in class that had similar challenges, and it wasn't Aliyah, and it wasn't ADHD necessarily, and they were being misunderstood, and they weren't feeling good about themselves, and the parents were trying everything. Teachers also very well intentioned, but you have to know how to work with these kids.
Right.
And then one thing.
And where is Kol Koreh now?
So thank God, over the last 12, 13 years. I mean, it's crazy how many years we've been in operation. We've been able to help a lot of kids. We're in Beit Shemesh. We're located in Beit Shemesh, but we have kids that come to us from all over. I've actually been asked to open chapters in different cities. It's just hard financially, the fundraising piece.
Yeah, how do you do fundraising?
Oh, my goodness. I never thought that would be my life, but it is. I always joke around, I'm a psychologist. I like to help people. I never thought that I would actually have to ask people for funding for things, but I so believe in what we're doing, and I realize the importance of it. I actually fly a lot to the States, also in Israel. I do whatever I can to help fundraise, and with whatever it is that I get, I turn it into a program. Whatever I could do, turn it into a program. We've been able to help, thank God, hundreds of kids. We also do workshops.
What you don't realize is these hundreds of kids, not only are you helping them be able to read, you are saving their lives because they're not then going on that downward spiral of feeling horrible about themselves, ending up on the streets, ending up in who knows what. And the opposite, what families you're able to build with all the kids who have graduated through your program successfully, realizing how talented, capable, and educated they are then going on to continue to build lives.
Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. I mean, I honestly, it's the most humbling experience. When I have parents contact me, I have parents that I haven't even, their kids already graduated Kol Koreh, and they haven't been in Kol Koreh already for a number of years, and they send me updates. They would send me a video of their child speaking in front of a whole school reading something like, look at my kid, it's only due to Kol Koreh. I mean, these things like always. One of the things that I think is important for me to also express and for people to understand is that when it comes to this specific challenge, it's not just about reading. A lot of times people say, oh, it's just about reading, or they only have a learning disability. Thank God it's not worse, or whatever it is. That's usually like what I hear. But it's so much bigger than that. I mean, it's so much bigger in so many ways. I mean, it affects the way the child sees themselves, especially also like in the frum community. I mean, everything revolves around reading. From the second the child wakes up in the morning until and their school days are much longer, and they have to adapt themselves to all different types of texts. Right, I mean, reading a Chumash is different than reading a Mishnah book, a Mishnah or a Gemara or a Halacha or a regular book. I mean, it's with everyone, every type of style, you have to adapt yourself and understand it. And so much of who they are, their mahut, like their essence, revolves around being able to be successful. I mean, a boy bar mitzvah. I mean, so many things like are just
the ramifications.
Yeah,
are
there's
huge.
so many, and it affects in so many ways. So it's not just reading; it affects way beyond that. I actually a few years ago. One of the things that I try to advocate a lot when I speak in the Knesset is early identification, because you could really already see with a very high level of certainty already in GAN which kids are at risk for reading failure, because the issue is actually it's a pre-reading thing that you have to see that is intact, and if it's not intact, you know that they're going to then struggle with the reading. So we actually came up with I did a pediatrician questionnaire, basically as part of my way of trying to, it was challenging to get things done through Misrad HaChinuch, through the Ministry of Education. So I thought, okay, let's try to get the Ministry of Health to put some pressure on the Ministry of Education. I always tried like different things to see what I could do to move things along. So I decided, pediatricians, parents go to them all the time, especially when the kids are little. Have them give the parents this questionnaire. It's online. They just fill it out. And the way we have it set up is that the results come to the pediatrician, and then when they come in for their visit, it says there very specifically whether the child is at risk for reading failure, and also if there is also to what degree, and if there is, like, what are the different things that can be done, and exactly what the doctor should recommend to the parents to do. Like, if do they need a speech therapist, an OT? Is it something that can be done in the school, outside of the school? It all depends on the level of severity that comes up. It's a very robust questionnaire. And so that was one of the things that I was pushing. So I was actually invited to speak in front of a kenes, a gathering of pediatricians, all the pediatricians in Israel, basically. They have this group that they belong to, and I was asked to speak there. So I was preparing my speech for this gathering, and I had my slideshow presentation opened up. And as I was working on it, a boy from Kol Koreh came in to where I was working, and he goes like, "What are you doing?" And it was right when I had this slide of a boy with his head like all depressed. By the way, it's not just for boys; it's boys and girls. But it happened to be a boy in the picture. It looked like very down, and I had all these pictures, all these things depressed, anxious, right. Feeling terrible about themselves. I had all these words that were popping up. That was part of the slideshow. Anyway, this boy comes in and he sees the picture of the boy in the center, and he goes, "That's me." And I looked at him and I said, "Look at the boy. Is that really you?" And he looks at the boy again and he goes to me, "You know something? You're right. That's not me. That used to be me."
Wow.
Even when I say it, I'm like, okay, it got me right there. But to have, he was 8 or 9 years old, to already recognize that that's not him anymore. So that's what I'm saying. It's way beyond reading. It's a sense of self. It's giving the kids their sense of self back. We have kids that come to us. We get a lot of the very difficult cases where the kids have really been through trauma, mamish trauma, It's really like, I mean, it's so upsetting to see a child walk in this way. And then we start the intervention and we see them blossom. And a lot of times I actually get angry when we actually see them blossom, because like we see why did he have to go through that? There's no need, especially because what we do, there's been research on this for years. It just hasn't gotten to the kids. And it upsets me to see that the kids are paying the price of things that we know what needs to be done, and it should be done. Yeah.
You're taking that upsetness and you're using it for good.
Yeah.
Right? There are some other people who could just say, I'm angry and complain, but you have taken it to, and we're going to work on trying to, and that's what you've been doing and that you continue to do. I mean, as long as you keep getting funding, obviously, but and as long as, but the preventative piece is actually, meaning that early detection is
that's key.
Giant.
That's key. The way that things work right now, unfortunately, in the system, is that a lot of times they wait till the problem mushrooms.
For sure.
And only then they give the support. And really, it should be the other way around.
I mean, you're trying to break a whole way of thinking of the entire Israel country.
I know.
Our whole country works after the fact. Our trauma of like, oh, rockets came, so then we start. Or like, this happened, so then we respond.
Right.
You're trying to get them to be on offense, to think ahead, to think before, to attack before it festers.
Yes. And it would be so good. Like, it would just make such a difference, because I think that something that people need to really think about is that when a child is unhappy, if a child in a class is unhappy, it doesn't just affect the kid. It affects the whole class. And it doesn't just affect the class, it affects his family, it affects his community. And when a child is happy, it doesn't just affect the child.
Of course.
It affects his whole class, it affects his family, it affects his community. And this is something we actually know what to do, how to help.
Yeah. And I think that permeates in your home. I don't know, your home being a home of open doors. I think of your house as like Avram Avinu's house, like it's open on all sides.
Yeah.
And everything is open. Your home is a place that till all hours, Friday night, everyone's hanging and playing games and chilling and all your food, your signature dishes. Every time I travel, it's like, but we're going to the Greens, right? We're going to I never get to go anymore because they go to you every time I'm not home, except when you make s'mores cookies. She makes the most. Actually, listen, Rinat wrote a book, which we're going to get to right now. About her s'mores cookies.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're my favorite. It's worth buying the book just for this recipe, but it's not really about the recipe. Tell us about your book.
Yeah. So in everything that we try to do at Kol Koreh, our aim is always to reach as many kids and as many families as possible. And one of the things that I wanted to do was that very often the kids get the wrong message. Like I mentioned, like a lot of times they get the message of, you're not trying hard enough, you're lazy, you got this yesterday, how come you can't get this today? Work harder, all this stuff. And they lose sight of actually their talents, their strengths, their abilities. So I wanted to create a book that actually focuses on that. So I wrote Carmela, the Famous Baker. It's available on Amazon. I wrote that book with the intention of giving the kids their actual potential in the story. And it's about a baker that struggled with dyslexia and how she was helped and how it made such a difference in her life. And then also like in every person and what they can do and how they can overcome. And it's gotten like incredible.
It really is amazing.
I got like incredible feedback. It's also it's been endorsed by leading experts in the field of dyslexia, which was
brilliant. The way you did it, it was you expressed. You didn't have to say the words.
Yeah, you
lived it in the book. I mean, I
lived this whole thing. Yeah. I mean, I think the other piece that was also aside from the book, another piece that I'm very proud of that we've done was the music video. This was also a number of years back where I was getting a lot of pushback. And I kind of viewed myself as the makat tzfardea, like if you push me back, I'll multiply. Like you can't, this not,
don't get me down.
Because I can't, I have no choice. Like I said, I'm not going back to America. Right. My kids have to be successful here. My kids are incredible and I want to give them the best life that they can have. So there was no going back. But I kept on getting a lot of pushback. So I said, I have to come up with a way to send the message out. Parents need to know that this is what it is, because a lot of times they were confused. Why is my child struggling so much? Why is it so hard? So I decided to write a song and make the song go viral. And with the help of my sister's nephew, who is an incredible, also musician and everything, he did the music and helped with the lyrics. I wrote a song. And we had actually a videographer who himself is dyslexic. He did the video, and it was like working with Steven Spielberg, who is also dyslexic. He had every frame in his head exactly how he wanted it done. And we had this music video. It came out, this was actually in about 2015. And in the first month of its release, we had over 30,000 views. I started getting phone calls from all over the world, from Hong Kong, Ireland.
What's the name of the song? How can we find it?
It's actually on the Kol Koreh website. If you go to kolkoreh.org, it's on the front page. You can see the music video. The funniest part was there was about a week after it was released, this mom, I was actually driving from Yerushalayim to Beit Shemesh. It was around 10 o'clock at night. And I get a phone call from this lady with a very strong British accent, and she goes like, "Did I reach Kol Koreh?" I can't do a good British accent. Like, "Did I reach Kol Koreh?" And I go, "Yes, you have." And she goes, "Oh, okay." She said basically that she just landed in Israel from London, and she promised herself that she's not going to leave the airport until she speaks to the person who wrote this song. She said her daughter lives in Israel. She sent her the link. This was, again, the song was out for like a week, She sent her the link. She has a son in London who struggles with dyslexia. And he had to go out of the regular Jewish school to a different school that was not Jewish, just to be able to be helped for his dyslexia. And it was a very difficult decision for them because now he's not getting a Jewish education. She said, but his self-esteem at that point was so down beyond, like under the floor, that she had no choice. And she said, now they're building him up and he's doing so great. And she just said to me, I just want you to know that it's not just a national issue, it's an international issue. And you just keep on fighting the good fight. And if you ever need to be in London for anything, and it was incredible. Yeah.
But this is, I mean, everything I know about you, right? It's like you said, the makat tzfardea, the plague of the frogs. Like, okay, you're gonna hit me. I'm just gonna keep going. I'm just gonna get back up. One son in the army, another son now starting the army, and a daughter-in-laws and daughter, and everybody's living in her house, and this one is off to the army, and you're like, I got this. I have my own health issues. I got this. I can keep going. Right? Like you from COVID, you had repercussions that affected, and you needed eye surgery, and the foot. You've had so many things, and you don't. Not only do you not get up, you get up with such strength and such perseverance and determination, and it's like it permeates who you are on like such a level.
Well, first of all, you're very kind. I just have to say that I'm a very big hashgacha pratis person. Like I really
divine providence.
I look for it. I find it. I see it in everything that I do. I have not experienced such a strong level of hashgacha pratis until I actually opened up Kol Koreh. I mean, it's incredible. Like in terms of that, it's just incredible, and it permeates in so many aspects of my life. If I could share like a short story, it took a while till even though we opened the nonprofit, it took a little while until we actually started seeing kids in house. Meaning, I did a lot of workshops, alerting people to the issue. It got to a point where I couldn't just say we have a problem but not offer a solution. And I was just like a little bit nervous because when we lived in Boca, I was involved also with helping the school take off and things like that. I knew what it took in terms of payroll and all this other stuff. And I was a little bit concerned about taking on on that piece. But it got to a point where I had to already offer a solution. So we actually opened up Kol Koreh. Actually, one of the teachers at Kol Koreh got to us because of the music video. She saw the music video. She said, "I'm making Aliyah," and she's an incredible teacher at Kol Koreh.
Music reaches people's hearts in a completely different way.
Exactly. If you want a message to come out, write a song.
Just a little sneak preview. Beit Binyamin's coming out with a song. But
there you go.
You heard it here first.
Can't wait. So, so we just started this, and initially, we started it in my basement, basically, the bottom floor of my house. I converted to a number of rooms to work with kids one-on-one, and we were promised a certain donation to hopefully get out of the basement. But in the meantime, we were still in the basement. And it was maybe about 2 months after we opened. And we advertised a little bit on Facebook and stuff. I had this Breslov family that came. And very, very Breslov, Israeli Breslov. And the mom was concerned about her son, and we had him, like as we do with all the kids that come to Kol Koreh, we first evaluate to see exactly where the issue is, because even if you give me 10 kids with dyslexia, each one has different strengths and weaknesses, and we have to know exactly how to help them specifically advance. So we had her son evaluated, and after the evaluation, I always have both parents come in for the feedback session. So I have in front of me this couple, very Israeli Breslov couple, and I'm starting to explain to them that their 6th grader, he's a very bright kid, really bright kid, as we saw in the testing, but he was still at the very, very beginning of his reading acquisition. He still did not know all his letters or all the nikudot, all the sounds. It was incredible. And basically he was warming a seat for the past 6 years. And as I'm starting to explain to them, and I realize that they don't even have like an understanding of learning disabilities, I'm looking at them and I stop myself and I go, how did you hear about us? I mean, we're basically like in a basement. How did you even know how did you even know to come to us? So the mom started to tell me that she's been concerned about this boy for a number of years. And from the first year in Cheder, from the first year in schooling, she would go over to his Rebbe and ask, like, why does it seem like my son is not really progressing? And the Rebbe would always say to her, listen, he's a sweet boy, he's a good boy, so he's not going to be the biggest Talmid Chacham, he's not going to be like the biggest, giant in learning, but, it's okay, he's a good kid. And they kind of kept on like pushing him along. Now this family is it's Breslov, very musical family. And as the years went by, and she would do the same thing every year, speaking to the teacher, the Rebbe, getting the same type of feedback, she started to notice that her son was becoming less and less interested in music. And she felt like she was starting to lose him. She was like, something is happening here that was not sitting well with her. So at the beginning of 6th grade, she went over to his Rebbe and she said, can you just tell me like what's going on with my boy? Like, it just seems like he's not doing well. He's not progressing and he's not succeeding and he doesn't feel good about himself. What's going on? And the Rebbe said to her, listen, he's such a sweet boy. He's a good boy. Okay, so he's not going to be the biggest Talmid Chacham. He's not going to be the most giant of, learners. But don't worry, like, he'll be okay. Anyway, she went home. She said she went to her bedroom and she locked the door and she started wailing. She said for at least an hour, she was just crying. She said, I don't know how to help my kid. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know how to help him. I don't know what to do. After about an hour of crying, she got up and she said, that's it. I'm flying to Uman because like the Breslov, that's where their guru is, She goes, I'm flying to Uman. She flew to Uman. She's at Uman and she's wailing at the Tzion, at the grave of Rabbi Nachman, and she's crying and she's crying. This Israeli woman comes over to her and starts yelling at her, "What's your problem?" in Hebrew, like, "What's your problem? What could be so terrible that you have to cry like this?" And the mom says, "You don't understand. I feel like I'm losing my son, and I don't know how to help him. I keep on asking, and no one's giving me answers. I don't know what to do." And the Israeli says to her, "Zeu, like that's it?" And she goes, "Yeah, I'm very nervous. I don't know. You don't understand. Like he's really like I feel like every day like I'm losing him more and more." And the Israeli lady screams at her, Zeu, every time, Zeu. And she's like, yeah, no, you don't understand. Like, this is like really serious. This is not just, and she's like, Zeu. Anyway, so the woman said, Ken, like afterwards, like the mom, like, yes, Zeu, like that's it, okay? Like, just leave me alone. Let me cry, leave me alone. So the woman, that Israeli woman, she said to her, call me Rinat Green and you'll be fine. Now that's what happened. Okay, she's telling me. Okay, I wouldn't have even known about it if I didn't ask like how they heard of us. Anyway, she said this lady said, call me Rinat Green and he'll be fine. So she flies back to Israel. Now this woman actually lives in Ramat Bet Shemesh, but in Bet. Okay, in Ramat Bet. We're in Ramat Aleph. She's in Ramat Bet. And who did she bump into? My daughter's teacher, who happens to be Breslov, and that was also there, and she said to her, and this my daughter's teacher actually was just at a workshop that I gave to the whole staff in the class, like the whole school, about being more aware of dyslexia and all of that. So she's the one that directed her to us, and thank God, like he started learning with us, and very quickly, like he was able to make progress. Again, once you work with them correctly, you see tremendous progress because we're talking about bright kids. They just need to be taught in a specific way.
Right.
Yeah, crazy. That's hashgacha. Like that's hashgacha stories. Yeah.
Well, I think there was something recent that was also hashgacha that started going viral with you. Okay, so just to background a little bit, I only just found out yesterday that you're opening a bridal gemach.
Oh, yeah. We just opened it yesterday.
Where did this come from?
You found out about it yesterday because we opened it yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah. This is so awesome. I have to tell you, this is so beyond awesome.
This is so you. That another project. Let's open up something else.
This is actually, all the credit goes to my husband, but this is unbelievable. Basically, my daughter's engaged. Actually, like my one that was the first grader. Yeah, she's engaged. Anyway, so I took her to a few places.
Who, by the way, is the most unbelievable, fantastic makeup artist, hairstylist. So talk about being skilled and capable.
Yeah,
you said she was the first grader that had all these learning disabilities. Well, not learning, just with dyslexia.
Yeah.
And now.
Yeah, she actually graduated high school fully, like with full bagrut, high grades, high marks at the age of 16. I think that part of it was to prove to her third grade teacher, who really had a disability. That's a side thing, but she's an unbelievable.
This is like
she is so incredible. She is so incredible, and she's such a fighter, and she's so talented, and she has so many incredible qualities. And I feel like
she has a mother who believes in her.
But I feel so blessed to be her mom because I've learned so much from being her mother that it's just unbelievable. Anyway, so I was going with her dress shopping for her wedding, and we started going from we went to a couple of stores to look for a gown, and we get to a store and we see that they're actually going to be closing at the end of the month. And they had a dress that I thought looked stunning on her, but it wasn't exactly the dress she envisioned herself in. So she wasn't sure if she should go for the dress. Not, I'm like, the price is right, you should go for it, But she couldn't decide. So the ladies there, who were amazing, they said, you know what, it was already at the end of the day, they said, you're our last customer for today. Why don't you just think it over overnight? Let us know in the morning. We can't keep the dress for you because it's first come, first serve at this point, but you give yourself a little bit of time to think about it. Anyway, we come home and I tell my husband the story. And then the next morning, he wakes me up and he goes, Rinat, we need to talk. I'm like, what? He goes, I think we need to open a Gemach. And I go, what? And now I know that he always wanted to open a Gemach. He always had this idea of opening a Gemach. Didn't know what type of Gemach, but he always had this idea. He wanted to open a Gemach. So he goes, I think we're going to open a Gemach. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, well, if this place is closing at the end of the month, maybe we can get dresses for a reasonable price. Now the prices for anything to do with weddings, especially, I don't know how it is outside of Israel, but in Israel, the prices have skyrocketed in every way for everything. He goes, there are probably a lot of kalas, a lot of brides that can't afford a nice dress. These are gorgeous dresses. If we could get them at a good price, maybe we should just open a gemach. So I'm like, okay, it sounds like an idea, but I had actually work. I had to go to work. And he goes, well, you're not going there right now because we have to go to this place. And he goes and he wakes up also my daughter and he says to her, Ellie, you got to get up. We got to go. And she's like, well, I have a client at 10:30. He's like, no, you're not. We'll figure out how you get there after, but we're going now to this place. before 9 a.m. We're at this store.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, it's on the way to Yerushalayim. We're at this store, and the ladies weren't even there yet. Like they didn't even get to the store yet, and just the seamstress was there. And I'm starting to take off all the dresses that I think would be shayach, like tznius dresses, all of it, like that,
for Ellie,
whatever I get that for the Gemach,
that you're going to take already,
to just see, what's there. And then these ladies came in, the people that work there, and we told them we were thinking of maybe starting a Gemach. They were so excited about the idea because it was so hard for them to close, like the idea of closing, and they felt like at least now their stock is going to go to something good. So they start giving me also things for free, like some jewelry and some paintings and don't ask. This is Israel. Like I love this country, and they gave us a very reasonable price for the dresses. So we bought 12, and they said to us, and if you want, come at the end of the month. If we have anything left over, we'll see what we have. Maybe we can give you some more stuff. So at the end of it was like the beginning of this week. It was the end of the month. We went back there and we bought a few more dresses, and then they gave us additionally more dresses, and they even gave us a couch. And they gave, it's crazy. It's crazy. We basically we're in business, and actually, so yesterday was the first time I posted like we're starting this Gemach, and right away I got all these collars that started calling. I actually had already right before I came here. There was a collar that came to try on, and she looked stunning. There were a couple of dresses that she's actually thinking of getting one of those. I have some more collars that are coming like after this. I had to kind of squeeze this in between, and it's really exciting. It's really, really exciting. And then on top of that, when they were telling me that they want to come, like from yesterday to today, I'm still not completely set up. I have the dresses, but I'm not set up. So I wanted to have some sort of a podium, because a stage of some sort of for the collars to be able to stand on, to be able to look at themselves in the mirror. So I'm like, what am I going to do? I need it from one day to the next. So I called up this carpenter, Eitan, that we used over 10 years ago. And I said to him, listen, I started this Gemach 3 seconds ago, and I need this, I need you to create this podium thing. Can you create that for me for the collars so they could stand on it and they could look at themselves in the mirror? And he's like, okay. He starts figuring out like the measurements and stuff. I said, listen, I don't know measurements, but can you do it? And he goes, okay. I go, for tomorrow? He goes, what? I said, well, I have already collars coming tomorrow. I need it.
Oh my goodness.
So he goes, you know what? Let me, call me in 2 hours. Let me see what I could do. Anyway, I set my timer, to call in 2 hours. And right before I was supposed to go off, he calls me and he says to me, listen, you really, you got me very emotional from what you're doing. The second we hung up the phone, I went to work. It's ready. Please come pick it up. I love this country. I love this country. This is our country, okay? This is Israel. So, of course, I had at that point, I didn't, my car was out. I didn't, one of my kids took it. So I had a neighbor of mine, a friend of mine, Dahlia, come with me. We went, we got it. It was incredible. I just to have these moments, to have these opportunities only in this country, literally. Only in this country, and he was so excited to be able to help brides, to help create more simcha, more joy, and it's amazing.
I think it also goes back to, your husband could have said, okay, it's expensive to make a wedding. We're going to have to find the money. We're going to have to do this. We're going to have to, but. No, but it's expensive for everybody. Yeah. So let's help everybody, not just figure out us, right? This is the Yaakov and Rachel Green of saying this is not just about my kids, it's about the nation's kids. Yeah. And this isn't just about my bride, it's about the nation's brides.
Baruch Hashem.
Right? When you think big, when you think I'm not just trying to help myself, I'm trying to help others. Hashem he opens the ways, and he moves everything out. He gives what's needed because you're heading in the right direction. So he's going to open it up.
It's incredible. I needed a full length mirror. I found it at a store. I went to a bunch of stores yesterday, and then I found it at a store literally 5 minutes before the bride walked into my house, and I had it there ready for her. It was all set up. When she walked in, everything was all ready. It's only in this country. Seriously, unbelievable.
We have to think, does my child, maybe if my child needs redemption, And then we think, oh, the whole nation does? Oh, God will just open the ways up, right?
I think we got to do that.
I think that this might be like, if we stop thinking about what we need, but what everybody needs. Look, I mean, obviously I could say this about Beit Binyamin.
Yeah,
right?
which is an incredible,
This is like,
I have to say,
thought,
aside from it being, I mean, like we were fortunate to stay there multiple times. Because thank God we're good friends. I love that. And our kids are great friends.
Well, you were there before it even opened.
I know.
Right?
But
like,
it's such an incredible, aside from the place itself, which is amazing, and what you do in there that's amazing. The second, also we talk about the feeling, like the second you walk into this place, there's a certain feeling that just overtakes you. And
right, but this is the idea is though that, right, if we're building it for the nation, look how Hashem, like I couldn't have even dreamt to make it what it is. There's no way, if I would have said, oh, I want to make it this and be able to help this many people and this, no way. But if I'm trying to do something like for the nation, God's like, okay, I'm gonna make it happen.
It's incredible.
Right?
It's really
when
incredible.
You want to help other people, he really finds a way. And it's almost...
But I think also if you happen to be Jen Airley.
No, because it's apparently Rinat Green and Yaakov Green and many other people that we can probably make lists and lists of people that we know. When your goal is to help Am Yisrael, Hashem pulls, he makes it happen.
Yeah.
He makes it happen.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not so easy. And sometimes it's okay. You have to find the donors and you have to find the abilities and you have to figure out how am I going to get this bench, this podium.
Yeah.
But when the goals, intentions are sincere, he sends everything.
Yeah, he sends his people.
He sends his people.
And what I love is to have that perspective of being able to be in a place to witness that. Also, I think that's also to me like one of the biggest brachas, the biggest blessings, whether it was being the head of the Chesed Committee in Boca or doing what I'm doing in Israel, is to be in a position of seeing that perspective, of seeing the giving that people have, the concern. So many times people come and they say, anonymously, give this to that person. It's just amazing to be that shaliach in between that gets to see that and to see how things develop.
All right. We're going to do some rapid fire questions before closing up here.
I didn't know about this.
I didn't prep you on this one. Didn't prep you on most of this. Where in Israel do you feel closest to Hashem?
Kever Rachel.
I knew you were going to say that.
That is without. Can I just tell you like a quick thing about that one?
Go
is
on.
that okay?
It's a rapid fire, but okay.
It's a rapid fire. I got to tell you this. This is okay. While my kids were in elementary school and dealing with all the stuff that we were dealing with in terms of learning challenges and all of that, there was a one point where things were pretty bleak, meaning I was trying to do certain things. I kept getting, like I said, pushback. And I'm like, why is it so hard? Like, why is it so hard? And my go-to place is Kever Rachel. So it was a specifically like challenging day. So I went there in the evening time, to Kever Rachel, and I was really down. Like I was really, I'm like, why does it have to be so hard? Why can't we just help these kids, you know? And as I'm davening, I looked up at the parochet.
The tapestry at
the covering, and there's a pasuk that's on it, and it says Kol Barama Nishma. Okay, Kol Barama. Now I live in Ramat Bet Shemesh, so I'm looking at this. I'm like, and Kol, like Kol Koreh, like Kol Barama Nishma. Okay, Nehi B'chi Tamrurim. Rachel mevaka al banea. My middle name is Rachel. Ma'ana li nachem al banea. She refuses to stop crying about her kids. Because they don't really fit regular ed, they don't really fit special ed, they're somewhere in between. And then it said, Mini kolech mi bechi ve'enayich mi dima, ki yesh sachar lifulatech ve'shavu banim ligvulam. And I'm thinking to myself,
well, just to explain the pasuk.
Yeah, it says that stop crying, because all your efforts, it's gonna happen.
You're gonna see the reward.
It's gonna happen.
You're gonna get.
Yeah, and I mamish felt that Mama Rachel was talking to me. It was like such a nechama for me. I mamish felt that Mama Rachel was just sending me her biggest hug, and yeah. I
was gonna ask you what's your favorite mitzvah, but I know it also. But you can tell. Yeah.
love my challah. Gotta do a fresh challah. Yes.
Favorite psuk? 3 psukim. 3
psukim.
3.
Okay, that's already good. I mean, I have more than 3, so I have to think.
Give me your top 3.
Well, this one, the Rachel,
okay.
that one is a big one. Another two.
The ones that give you comfort, your comfort Torah.
Yeah. No, I guess like anything in Mishlei, like pretty much Mishlei I love, like anything in Mishlei.
That's your go-to?
Yeah, Mishlei. I also like Pirkei Avos is also pretty solid, when it comes to that. I think there's a lot of chachma. I like psukim that are insightful. That's what
we have 24 books.
Yeah,
and
I like, but like the ones that like kind of like stand out, like that help give you direction in terms of what to focus on. Those are my go-tos.
All right. Well, I'll give you one more. What have you learned about yourself through motherhood?
Oh my goodness, what have I not? Everything, and I'm still learning.
Okay, but something specific.
How much you can learn from your kids. Like I think that to me is like the biggest. I think the most that I've learned about how to be and who to be is just by being my kid's mother. I'm so grateful, and also especially like seeing like the different challenges, different struggles, and how they overcome them, and how they're like so amazing. Like to me, like that, I learned the most from them.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Should always keep learning. L'lmod u'lelamed. Keep learning and teaching.
Amen.
Good
Amen.
health. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, all of us, for joining us on our journey in JENuine Voices with Moral Edge. Have a great one.